All yiggity. And we're back. So, family, it's time to set the record straight about Kamala Harris. Let's be real. She's not black. She's a South Asian Brahman Indian, and her father's Indian too. And just because you attended an HBCU and joined a black fraternity and gave Montel Williams some neck, don't that don't make you black. Okay?
I'm kind.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. But what we got for y'all is Kamala Harris's greatest hits. So people always want to know, well, she never said she wasn't doing nothing for y'all. Well, let's put that to bed right now. Does Kamala Harris support reparations for Black Americans?
Support
Boom.
reparations for Black people.
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress.
Wasn't she just the one that just said America's not a racist country?
Mm.
Didn't she say that?
Mm.
I'm just asking for a friend.
Just a friend.
But we'll go on.
Is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country.
You don't
and
say.
Black people
really
have not. And so we have.
So with all that being said, all of this bad stuff that's happened to Black people, Ms. Harris, what are you gonna do?
Got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up.
Really?
That's why, for example,
So you got to recognize it, and you got to give them something.
I'm proposing the Lift Act.
Hold on, she said
about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act.
The Lift Act. You ever heard about the Lift Act?
Let me hear it again. As to what?
Hold on.
Something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit.
The Lift Act. Have you heard anything about that over the last 4 years?
I didn't. And hold on. Even if you did do it, that was for everybody. After you just got done saying Jim Crow, 400 years of slavery, every angle of America's fabric is racist. You just said it. It's holding us back. And then you said, that's why I did this for everybody.
But there's more.
Which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at...
But no. But no, there's not for the Negroes.
Let me make that
the reality of who will benefit from certain policies. When you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant.
So since they more effed up, as you say, it's gonna help them.
But how if everybody gets it?
That's interesting. Tell me more, Kamala.
So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities.
I don't know. That sounds like reparations to me.
That sound like reparations, but she said it's for everybody.
The specific issue of being economically strangled as a lineage in a community, that sounds like reparations, Kamala Harris. So what are you planning to do? Let me hear it again.
And we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No. Do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No. Do something that's only going to benefit black people? No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
Right? Right? No, wrong, Miss Harris. Wrong. That's not it. But that's not all, y'all. So you might want to ask yourself, this is a black woman that went to a HBCU. She was black. Well, I beg to differ. Let me introduce to y'all who Kamala Harris really is. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
My mother, who raised me and my sister, was a proud woman. She was a brown woman. She was a woman with a heavy accent.
And her mother. Hold on.
A brown woman.
So not black. So are you a brown woman?
Was your mom Mexican? Is your mama Mexican? Or you mean red dot Indian? You mean Habibi and them, huh? Hold on now.
The Shamla Gopalan was also the biggest influence in Kamala Harris's life.
The biggest influence?
The hugest? Nothing bigger than that, huh?
So not her quote unquote Indian Jamaican dad. Not him.
No.
Okay.
Not that side of the family, not a grandma, not an uncle, not a grandpa over there on that side was the biggest influence. It was Sanjay Gupta.
The answer is absolutely yes, Joe.
After the big announcement, Harris's sister wrote in a Twitter post, "You can't know who Kamala Harris is without knowing who our mother was." In 1958, a precocious 19-year-old Indian, Gopalan traveled thousands of miles from her home and family to pursue a doctorate in nutrition and endocrinology in America.
Does that say how Harris's Indian roots shaped her political views? Is that what that says?
Indian roots.
That's interesting. Did she say Indian roots? So that means what Indian roots do she have?
And that's how her political views are. So that's how she's going to vote, is in the best interest of her Indian roots.
Okay, so let's bust those down real quick. Did y'all know Kamala Harris is a Brahmin Indian? Okay. So as Brahmins are a Hindu caste in India that are considered to have the highest ritual status in the 4 social classes. What is 4 social classes? What's that? Is that them putting other people on the bottom, preferably the dark ones?
Is that like slavery? But kinda?
Hold on. Maybe some of our viewers don't know what 4 social classes are. So let's Google that up real quick. Just so we're all on the same page.
Because we want to be clear. We want to
be clear. So the 4 traditional social classes in India are known as Varna and are a part of a Hindu caste system. So a caste system dictates who's important in the society. If you're at the top of the caste, you're running it. If you're at the bottom of the caste, you're what's called untouchable, and you clean up poop on the street. Don't believe me? Go watch a documentary called The Untouchables, and they will show you how they're a caste of low people that are required to pick up the poop, because every morning, everybody in India poops right out on the street. I don't know if y'all knew that, but they just cock over and dump right there. And in order to keep the town clean, they have relegated the untouchables to clean up everything. So Brahmin is at the top. It's the priestly class who are believed to have come from Brahmin's head and are mainly teachers and intellectuals. That sounds like colonizers to me. Then they got the Christianinas, a noble class who are called Rayayas and who are believed to come from Brahmins' arms and are warriors, rulers, and administrators. The Vishyasas, the commoner class who are believed to have come from Brahmins' thighs, are traders, artisans, merchants, tradesmen, and farmers. And then the servant class, they got a servant class?
Almost a slavery class, but comparable to the house Negro.
No, that's exactly what it is, a slavery class. The servant class.
Hold on, I can't give them full. I can't give them full because you ain't cracking the whip. You ain't scraping the mom.
Okay.
You ain't see, you ain't doing it. You ain't picking no cotton. You ain't no blood. You ain't doing that. So I can't give you full slavery. We can't use that term so loosely.
True. But they is picking up poop off the ground. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah. But that makes you more of a hold on. And when you're getting some type of payment, I ain't talking about, well, the slaves got room and board when we let them stay in the barn with the pigs. I ain't talking about that. That ain't what y'all doing.
And it says, well, let's ask the question. Why does India have a class system? Why? Is they inherently racist? And this is to their own people too, by the way. Like they piecing up their own peoples. But there's more. Let's bust this down about who Miss Kamala Harris really is.
She soon became an active civil rights crusader while studying at UC Berkeley.
So they trying to say her mom has something to do with civil rights? Oh, it makes sense. She was trying to get them civil rights to get her little tether privileges. That makes sense. All right, okay.
And what is civil rights? See, civil rights is automatically associated with black.
And so notice how they try to have this picture. And that's a tether in the back. That dude standing back there, he ain't even black. He looks African. I can tell you that right now.
But once she went there, she almost felt free. And she took part in politics. She used to bring a whole series of literature, leftist literature from Karl Popper's, he was a great philosopher.
In her book, Harris says, there is no title or honor on earth I'll treasure more than to say I am Shamla Gopalan Harris's daughter.
There you go.
Harris's visits to India with her mother kept her connected.
Look at that. Look at that great Indian family. Is that the nigga they trying to say black right there? He don't look black to me.
Never.
He looked like he say, I know black.
Every day.
To her roots. Her grandfather, who had strong views on humanitarian issues, worked closely with officials to reallocate refugees.
Oh, so you been in the forefront of bringing tether to places for a long time.
Immigration policy.
Is that why you let everybody come over here?
Their conversations had a strong influence on her.
Those walks along the beach in India really planted something in my mind and created a commitment in me before I even realized it.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm glad you said that.
So you've been having this elitist, I'm at the top of the pile mindset since before you came over here. And is it safe to say that, your top cast member granddad said, you make sure you go over to America and give them Negroes hell? And you was like, I will, Grandpa. I will hate on them and make them pick Dookie just like we do at home.
And make sure you let as many immigrants in as possible.
It has led me to where I am today.
Harris's maternal uncle, Gopalan Balachandran, who lives in Delhi, tells us how the senator turns to her Amma, which means mother in Tamil, for guidance even after her death.
interesting.
You don't say.
I thought, what happened to Daddy's girls? I got all girls, and they swear by talking to me. What happened to it's the mind. Oh, okay.
Even in death.
Even in death, she praying to her dead mother, asking her, "How do I do these Negroes wrong?"
Boom. That's what she said.
I don't have to tell her, make your mother proud. She said, what are you telling me? Everything that I do, I ask myself, would Amma approve of this?
Will she approve? Oh, she would approve of you saying you're not going to do something just for black people. Oh, okay.
No.
All right, okay. So was you summoning your mom's spirits when you were saying that?
Kamala in Hindi means lotus flower and is an important symbol in Indian culture.
I didn't know that. Kamala means lotus flower. And that's a staple in Indian culture. So we got a whole Trojan horse, y'all. Y'all thought Kamala was a black name, didn't you?
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you think Kamala was a black girl's name?
You thought so.
Rooted deep in the bottom of the river. Very similar to Harris's Indian identity, which she wears on her sleeve.
It digs deep. Hold on. Did y'all hear that?
It digs deep, fam. Just like her Indian heritage that she wears on her sleeve, fam.
It digs deep into the roots.
There's no doubt that the primary source of learning for Senator Harris was from her mother's experiences and the conversations that she had with her maternal grandfather when she visited India, which was very often accompanying her mother, or when the grandparents would visit them in America.
But nothing from the father, though.
Nada.
Nothing.
Nada.
Not nothing.
Not in there. None.
So is that why you said this?
And say, I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people? No. Because
that's where that come from? Or is it because or is this
Each other Merry Christmas?
Is this why you so fired up about Indians? Wait a minute, y'all. Do y'all ever see this?
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we? And
we can't have a Merry Christmas, guys?
Because the people at the border
breaking the law?
So I'm just asking y'all, have y'all ever seen Kamala Harris get that up in arms or excited about, I don't know, any of the atrocities that happened to black people over the last, I don't know, 8 years since Obama been in office?
But it makes sense though now, because when she's fired up like that, she's thinking about her grandpa P and how he fought for E.
Dang. So we got a full immigrant president, right?
this issue in law enforcement, and then
So, well, how does she feel? How does she feel about law enforcement?
what I suggest we do as African Americans is own this issue in law enforcement and then define it.
Did she say as African Americans? Did she say that? Let me take that back.
What I suggest we do as African Americans is own this issue in law enforcement and then define it in the way that works for us.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
Dang, she playing in y'all faces, fam. So she said, as an African American.
And then define it in the way that works for us.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
Because it is a myth to say that African Americans don't want law enforcement. We do.
We want our grandmothers to be able to walk to church.
Dad, you sound like a tether, B.
And be safe. We want our babies to be able to walk to the park and be safe.
When my mother, Shamala, stepped off the plane in California at 19 years old, she didn't have much in the way of belongings, but she carried with her lessons from back home. Growing up, my mother would take my sister, Maya, and me back to what was then called Madras.
What I suggest we do as African Americans is own this issue in law enforcement and then define it in a way that works for us.
Girl, if you don't get out of here, man, what more do y'all need to see? Just tell me. What more do you need to see? Are we saying that this person right here? Hold on real quick.
Stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
Our dear friend will be the first Indian American vice president in the history of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
As many of you know, generations of my family come from India. My mother was born and raised in India, and I have family members who live in India today.
Asian Americans are the fastest growing population here in North Carolina, and among that, Indian Americans are driving a lot of that growth right here in the Triangle, drawn to the tech, science, and medical fields. Now, some are hoping to see Kamala Harris make history as the first South Asian in the highest office in the country.
Senator Kamala Harris will be the first person of Indian heritage to be nominated for vice president on a major party ticket.
The first Indian American woman to be nominated as a vice presidential candidate in America.
I stand before...
Well, there you have it. I don't know what else to give to y'all, man. She said it herself. She said it came from her mama. She said she got all the information from kicking it with her granddad, walking along the dirty Indian beaches with all the trash on it. He instilled in her,
She said that.
He instilled in her that she needs to look out for all the immigrants possible. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm pretty much done on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I see all y'all up in here too. Ain't nobody said nothing. What you looking for? If you ain't, we live. Say hi. I see y'all. Go ahead. We give y'all a chance to talk. Say what's up. We see you with your look of whoing. And if not,
tap in where you tapping in from.
Yeah, tell me where you're tapping in from. We'd like to know the city or the state where you're tapping in from. Other than that, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave y'all with this image right here. Is that a dot on her forehead?
Come on now.
Dude, she got the dot right there, fam?
Come on now.
She got the dot.
Doc marks the spot, cuz. Doc marks the spot, man.
If y'all let her get y'all with the I went to a HBCU, so I'm black, we got a lot of work to do as a people. I ain't gonna hold you, but I'm gonna mold you, fold you, and scold you about being on code. You know I got 4 words for you: love, peace, blessings, and aloha. I'm certainly out the Doha for Shoha, and you already know. Please like, share, subscribe, and go over there to Patreon and go check out that documentary that we got called Slave Control, and we out.
Cedric Blackman, and I'm a contributor of Abolish, The Slave Patrol, a documentary that will crack open the door on a hidden truth about our present. It's a truth about the roots of something too many of us take for granted: American policing. We like to believe our systems evolved organically, but Abolish, The Slave Patrol exposes a chilling reality. It shines a light on the dark history of slave patrols and those brutal armed groups formed centuries ago to enforce slavery and control foundational Black Americans. Their legacy isn't buried in the past. It's woven into the very fabric of our modern police forces, the way officers interact with Black people, and the patterns of racial profiling and discrimination with tragic instances of violence. They all echo with the ghosts of the Slave Patrol,